Hello everyone, this is Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition, session 64. So what are we doing these sessions for? We really want you and everyone to learn about the ecosystem what we are building through our educational programs, because knowledge and education is one of the main pillars of the activities Future Food is doing. And in these sessions, we are introducing the ecosystem members who attended any of the educational programs we organize at Future Food, let it be a summer school or the Food Innovation Master Program, or now the Food and Climate Shaper boot camps, what we organize together with FAO. And while I'm waiting for my guest today to join me, it will be a very casual conversation of 20-30 minutes, and you will hear about his story. How did he end up on the boot camp? And also, what is his action, what he's taking towards a more sustainable food system? But let me, yes. I can already see him. Hi, Segond.
Hi, how are you, Julia?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Thank you.
First of all, we have to clarify one thing right at the beginning of the conversation. Am
Mhm.
I calling you right with your first name Segond, or shall I call you Fidens? Because
Fidens
I
is
think
easier.
I'm sorry.
Fidens is easier.
All right, so Fidens. I'm just quickly finishing the intro and then we can go on with the questions. So I encourage everyone to ask questions in the chat. If they have any, we will make sure that we will accommodate them during the session. And if you don't have the time to stay with us the entire time, no problem, because the session will be posted on our IGTV and YouTube channel as well, along with the other 63 sessions we hosted so far. So if you are looking for something to watch over the weekend and listen to very interesting and inspiring stories, then go on and watch the Food is a Conversation alumni editions. And now, without any further ado, let me hand over to Fidens. Please introduce yourself. Tell the audience where you are dialing in from, and how did you end up on the boot camp last year?
All right. Thank you very much, Julia. My name is Fidens. I am the managing director of a company called North Harvest. We operate an online grocery store in Kigali, Rwanda. And I was part of the climate and food shapers of last year in December. Thank you.
Exactly. So, where did you hear about the boot camp?
Oh, I'm part of a lot of platforms, and one of them is Impact Hub Berlin.
Ah,
And
yes.
yes, I was recommended from Impact Hub Berlin to be part of these cohorts of FFF. Yeah.
I see. Very good to hear. Good to hear that all those different platforms are already buzzing around about the platform. So,
Mm.
was this your first digital learning experience, or did you have other trainings already what you took in a digital format?
I mean, for because of the pandemic, I mean, the digital learning and the remote collaboration tools have been very used last year, and this was not the first one, but it was a bit different because not only you will not get bored and tend to just shovel it off and give it up because you have a lot of different activities and you had connection with people, and the fact that we were connected to the people who were like not ambassadors but tutoring us was very better, and it would never think of leaving even if it was really tiresome and exhausting at some point.
Especially the final weekend, right? When you had
Exactly,
to work
yeah.
on the hackathon.
The
Yes.
hackathon. Mm.
Yeah. So if you look at the 4 week experience, what were the main learnings? What were maybe surprising what you learned during those classes with the different experts? And what activities did you find very useful?
Oh man, I liked the introduction. It was very fundamental, and it was touching for on a different topics. And those are the things that we, as professionals, as operators in food, agriculture, and nutrition, are facing every day. But you need it to be not only packaged well, but also like well outlined so it stinks in your head. uh, One of the things that we discovered is what we called, what FFI used is calling redundant resources. It's a very useful, and it stuck in my mind because I used to talk about it, but without having a specific word term.
Oh.
We are bringing food trucks, that trucks which we're not used so far. We're turning them into food trucks. We're using not so well used warehouses. We turn them into night farmers markets. We are turning offices, underutilized offices, into community food hubs where innovators in agri-food tech, retail tech, innovators can come together, sip some coffee, but discuss things, mutualize resources. So all these are the things that I've been able to not only be exposed to, but also refreshed into when I attended the boot camp.
Amazing. And I remember you had a very young climate shaper with you who attended few of the classes and also your climate supper, right?
Unfortunately, he's now attending schools. After the pandemic, the lockdown was lifted and people are able to resume with their respective works. So he's now going to school. Guma is always happy to come in and pitch on my behalf when I feel like yeah.
Very good, very good. So, Fidens, I would like to learn a bit more about the food system in Rwanda. So what are I know we have global food system problems, what is kind of applicable everywhere, but could you give us a bit of an overview, especially for the audience, they might not know, what are the challenges, what you are facing there and trying to find solutions for?
It's really, really sad. I should not be even talk about it.
Oh,
I'm back.
okay.
It's a battery thing. In Rwanda, we have 70% of the active population into farming activities. They seem to be stuck there. They don't live up of their farming activities. They remain the poor of the poorest. Of course, that has a consequence. They don't know what to produce, how much to produce, when to produce it, and for how much they should be paid for what they're producing, which makes it very difficult for anyone in operator in the food systems to know what to expect from a farmer, what to expecting from the production side of the food. It results into 40% of agricultural production being lost every year over year. And this is not acceptable, not only because farmers cannot live with an activity that is paying them half of the amount they should expect, but also it results into 38% of the kids under 5, and mostly in these rural families, farming families, are stunting. Kids under 5 are stunting. Those two numbers should not coexist in the same ecosystem. People losing food and people going to sleep hungry. So what we're trying to do in Park&Pick in Kigali is to ensure that we can leverage technology to connect the dots, not only to know how much people need, how often, what are the preferences, what are the tastes, what are their purchasing power, the expected purchasing power depending on your class, to make sure that we inform the farmers to farm differently, to farm accordingly. When you know how many Julias you have to feed in this town, we can't fail to produce it, especially when you have a country like Rwanda, which is blessed by the nature. You can grow pretty much everything throughout the year. So it's huge as a task. It's very presumptuous. But I think if I happen to be talking about it as often as possible, if my community food hub is taking this challenge for themselves, I think we can grow a critical mass of communities sensitive about food accessibility, food, like making sure that available food in farms is accessible in markets and is cheap, affordable to the people when it gets on their plates. So we are decolonizing menus. We are trying to set up national recipes. We're trying to make sure that nutritious, functional meals are affordable for the different categories. All that is huge, but we need to start from somewhere and get to connect the dots.
Wow, that's definitely a complex challenge to solve. And I think we also had a shortly one conversation about this during the boot camp. through another research, we learned in other African countries that Westernized diets are taking over the market. So people are not even aware of the traditional food what they are used to grow, or some even still grow, and the recipes. Although those would be nutritionally completely complex and good enough for them for solving this issue. How do you see that in Rwanda?
I mean, that's pretty much the same here. I'll give you an example. I'm part of a WhatsApp group, it's an interest group, Kigali Food Entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
42 people are members. Only 4 are Rwandans.
Wow.
Very, I mean, but I don't want to call it a shame, but yeah, it shows how the ecosystem works. I mean, mostly expats who are selling our food, they're not going to get any interest in picking up our diets, our meals, our local ingredients. They're going to bring import and flood the market with what they've been eating. And what it results in, we have imports, and that's weighing on our balance, payment balance. And we have our traditional meals. We have local ingredients that are available, but because everyone tends to go and get affiliated to this like a industry, already built industry, and it will be very hard, very heavy on anyone to undertake to change that, to reverse that. But what we're trying to do in Pack and Pick is we have a chef who's an Italian, born Rwandan but raised in Italy. His name is Felix. He's a restaurant promoter. He has created 4 restaurants in Kigali. One is Gusto, Via Veneto, White Horse. But we turned him into what can we do with what we have? Data, we have data. Pack and Pick has been able to list 10 products, the most wanted in Kigali, which corresponds with people's tastes. How can I turn that into nutritious, affordable meals? Very easy to get to people, and nutritionally enough to get them up, run the activities. So it's huge, but it's exciting.
Yeah. You also mentioned that despite the huge number of farmers who are still actively in the farming sector, they have very little understanding of what the value of their products is or how to get to markets. And so their literacy in terms of market access and finances is very low. Is there any initiative what is helping them to balance this out?
So there's so many initiatives, but they're not coordinated. For example, I give you UN Women has an online platform for farmers to post their harvests. Clinton Foundation has an online platform for farmers to post their harvest. WFP, FAO, they have UNHCR have its own platform, and we have government initiatives as well. GIZ is sponsoring some of theirs. So we have so many different initiatives that are not coordinated, and all are relying on the farmer to post his daily activities. It's not possible. He is busy farming. He's pressurized to make sure that he understands how the plants are growing. He's struggling to get to put 2 ends meet. I mean, a farmer is not equipped to tech. He's not equipped to digital. He's not equipped to finance. You can't put all these on him, on her. So all these platforms end up being redundant. And the UN Women is even trying to, I mean, we approach them, but they suggest that we take over that platform. But we are not interested because this platform has been designed by someone seated in Washington, trying to figure out what local ecosystems in Africa are. And 3 years down the road, no one had subscribed to that platform. So what we're trying to do is to convince everyone not only to come together, to not only say, these are the resources available, these are the operators, let us empower operators to get their solution to work instead of just top down. And we are in negotiations, but people can't leave their comfort, their certainties about food systems, and it gets to the expert. I'm leaving soon, so I don't care. I'm not even interested in sustainability or whatever I'm engaged in. So that's pretty much
I
probably,
understand.
yeah.
Yeah. So with Park and Pick, how do you approach the farmers then? So what is your take on convincing them that you will provide them with a platform where it's not the pressure on them anymore? Because if I understand it correctly, you are taking over that digital part and helping them to manage their visibility, basically. How do you see their reaction or perception of your initiative?
We are failing. We are failing every day, but we are learning every day. I'll give you an example. Last week, we went to a farming community in the northwestern part of Rwanda. We improvised. We had cash. We will today buy on using kilos, using crates. We have a cold truck. We will be not only offering you a decent money, but also getting you to subscribe to us, collecting all your food you're growing here. They first refused, but because we had money, they accepted. They gave us very bad quality because they don't have an infrastructure to clean up their products. So we could not accept mud and dust to come into our crates. We had our truck, and we've seen another truck coming, a truck that transports normally cement, that is coming from Goma, from a neighboring country, Congo, DRC. They prefer to take their food, their big sacks, which are not weighed, which are not cleaned, which are not even offering them money, because that's how they used to do it. They put all these big sacks, which are not weighed, which are not cleaned, which are not paid up front. They ship them to Kigali in not so proper way. I mean, this cement is not supposed to be in contact with food, but because someone in Kigali is waiting for their sacks, is going to give them money after having done some retail. They used their trucks into this mindset, think if we clean it, we're going to lose weight. Yet they don't even weigh. If we weigh it, we're going to be on a kilo, be paid on a kilo. And being paid on a kilo might probably result in us getting less money. And if we get cash now, we might not probably get what the market is offering today. So we tell them, the moment you've not transitioned, we are losing money. And we have all this infrastructure ready for you guys. We are going to register whoever is willing to join our pool of partner farmers. And next week, we're coming with them having the standards, knowing how much we're paying them, if the transaction we have been made up front. So they are convinced that not only we're taking their crops on a fair, decent price, we're taking their crops with them having added some value, so earning more. And of course, them owning their products, because we're asking them one thing, not a little, but one thing. To own your products, you need to know how much you've invested in your products. We're probably not going to ask you to start recording or faking the numbers. Next season, we're not going to buy from you if you don't record every single expenses you put in your food. So after the contract we have, we'll add a what we call minimum guarantee return, which is equal to 20 to 30%, depending on the crop. And we are going to base that percentage on the amount you've invested effectively. We need to have these records approved by an agronomist. So it's huge you're putting on them, but at least we're not pushing them to technology, which requires them to have megabytes, which requires them to have an updated digital skill, which requires them to have a device. So it's an organization problem instead of being a digital technology problem. That's how we're approaching it.
I see. But very, very good. I like the approach what you take. And so that's the producer end. How do you see the consumers who are used to all the westernized food and maybe not even interested with the locally grown food? How do you approach them?
The mission of our chief, Felix, is to not only disclose a suggested meal every day, which will be nutritious, made of local ingredients, but also he's going to suggest how to cook it. That recipe, after 2 to 3 weeks, we have made a meal plan. So we're going to onboard those who are interested in receiving these recipes every day. We're going to welcome them into a more subscription thing, which makes us not only turn them to 3, 4, 5, 6 recipes that people like, giving them a list of the composition of those recipes, but of course, we are hooking them up with that recipe thing, because it's a hustle, and mostly in all the families, upper middle class families. In the morning when you're leaving, your house help asks you, what am I going to cook for noon? And you're in a hurry, you don't have the time, and probably not even equipped with the necessary information to craft something immediately. So we're removing that hardship on mostly female, because still gender sensitive things.
Yes, we are still making the food choices for our families. Yes.
You can't get that off them, but we're trying to make it easier for people to take decision about the food they take, and making sure they have the information, the right information to take that decision mostly. And once we have 12, 10, and 10, 12, and 14,000 families adhering to our, like, subscribing to our even suggested meal plans, we'll be happy. We know that we have impacted these families in approaching food differently, easily, and making sure that we are availing the same products they need on time, in quality, in at affordable prices.
Amazing. Well, Fidens, I really hope that it will become easier and easier. And once farmers did have this mindset shift and they can see their other farmers, their neighbor may be benefiting from the system, what you are doing, then they will happily contact you and be on your platform. So I always have one question, what I ask from everyone. Well, before I do that, what are your next steps? Like, do you need extra funding? Is there something on the pipeline? What is the next step for Park&Pick?
So Park&Pick is not alone, and we try to mutualize resources with other innovators in agri-food tech. For that, we are renting cold room, a food truck,
To pursue in the future.
We're very excited with it, and we have many people already coming to us. Yes, please.
Wait. You were cut off. The connectivity went off. So we lost you at the point when you said that you are taking care of the renting of these places, like the offices, the coffee shop, and everything. And then we didn't hear you afterwards.
Oh, sorry then. Oh, if you can hear me now, do you?
Yes.
All right. So the community food hub is meant to bring together, to build an ecosystem of complementary services, people who are into processing, customization, but also in this fresh delivery that we are also doing. We don't take them as competitors, we call them co-opetitors. We can together create a critical mass that can voice all the challenges we are trying to tackle separately, but if you're together, we can mutualize resources. I talked about having a cold room, having a warehouse, proper warehouse, a decent kitchen on demand. So we are absorbing of the people, all the chefs that have been made redundant by the pandemic. We're trying to offer them an infrastructure that it's ready for them. If they have a gig, they have someone who's offering them some catering contracts. They can
Contracts,
come,
yeah.
cook from our facility, and they just participate in the utilities fees. One condition: they use our farmers' food. So we're trying to see
Very
how
good.
we can create a complementary but complete and integrated solution to food, bringing together all the professionals from different backgrounds, from different positions in the value chains to operate together, so we can not only enjoy the same audience but also mutualize resources. We have a call center that is ready to take up hotlines of all these small small entrepreneurs. We have co-working space so we can share seats. We have hot desks. People can come and take up for very cheap. So we have all these together so we can invite people. We are ready, and we are raising funds. Of course, all this cannot be on Park&Pick without having
Very good. So everyone out there we go. Investment opportunity into a food community, a food hub. And I really like this integrated solution. So Fidens, fingers crossed. And I really hope that we can see this evolving further. So now closing our session, tell me, how do you see your preferred food future? You can go utopistic and, imagine something which is perfect, or you can go realistic, knowing all the barriers and boundaries what we currently have. It's up to you.
Can you repeat again?
Yes, of course. So I would like to hear what is your preferred food future, and as a final question, but you can decide two different futures. One, which is completely utopistic, not thinking about any barriers at the moment, just go with the perfect scenario. Or you can also go realistic, where you know what are the obstacles, what you need to, get through in order to build your food system.
I'll go with Jean Ziegler's quote: "Every kid that dies of food scarcity is assassinated." It's not acceptable that in a world that's producing 4 times more than the needs of the people, some people go to sleep hungry. It's not that difficult. It takes some ambition, but it's possible. And we create this reason why I even like to approach and contribute to platforms and collectives like FFI, is that we are creating that systematic but localized and also a customized solution locally, but creating that critical mass of people sensitive about these challenges, tackling them with their respective resources and equipment and skills, of course. And I don't see this in 2030. If you happen to craft an optimal formula, as Park&Pick is trying to do it, if you happen to be funded correctly, I don't see it still remain on SDG as a challenge. We should really, really end food scarcity and food malnutrition, and add food despair around the world. Africa has that equipment. We have 60% of the arable land. Africa has the biggest population, younger population. We have what it takes. It's not a technology problem. It's not a funding problem as such. It's just a decision that we need to end this now. And the moment we have a critical mass of people sensitive to that, it's going to be attained. And it's not utopistic. It's possible. And of course, I might probably be too optimistic by nature, but otherwise, we leave it up to the nature to decide to close our genes, and we die of another pandemic. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Fidens, thank you so much for this session. It was very insightful. Thank you for sharing your experiences. And for the audience, if you didn't manage to listen to us from the beginning, don't worry, because it will be posted on IGTV and tomorrow on YouTube as well. Please stay tuned, because the next session is next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Central European Time. And on every Tuesday and Thursday, we continue introducing other alumni as well. So Fidens, good luck with all your ambitious plans, and we stay in touch.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to more and to seeing all the other initiatives coming together, connecting
Yes.
them.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.